Hello everyone, we are now going to talk about Chapter 3 ICT Skills. Now this is the second part of the video. If you haven't watched the first part, the link is in the description box. Let us talk about the difference between RAM and ROM. Now this is a very frequently asked question. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. ROM on the other hand stands for read-only memory. Now, why is RAM random access memory? Because the data and the instruction in RAM is stored in a random order. That is how it gets its name, random access memory. Whereas ROM is read-only memory. As the name suggests, we can only read from this memory. We cannot write to this memory. This is a type of memory where the instructions are stored by the manufacturer and you cannot change the ROM. It stores the basic information of how to load the operating system from the storage device. Now, ROM are available in many machines like our ovens, microwaves, or even the washing machines that we use, not just computers. RAM is a temporary memory. Why? Because as soon as the power supply is switched off, whatever is there in the RAM, it gets lost. So it is a temporary memory and a volatile memory. Whereas ROM on the other hand is a permanent memory, is a non-volatile memory. The contents of ROM are not lost when the power supply is switched off. RAM is known as read-write memory. You can read from RAM or you can also write to RAM. So that is why it is called a read-write memory. On the other hand, ROM is a read-only memory. You can only read from this type of memory. Now the next one is peripheral devices. Peripheral devices are basically those hardware components that are attached to our computer and are controlled by the computer. Now they add a functionality to our computer. For example, a keyboard, a mouse. Now they are an add-on to our computer. They are not the core components. The core components are CPU or the motherboard. But the other devices like a printer, you don't require a printer all the time. So that is a peripheral device that is connected. Peripheral devices are basically used to perform secondary operations like capturing images, recording videos, connecting to the internet, etc. So they can be easily plugged or removed from the computer. For example, a scanner. Now, scanner is not something that is always connected to the computer. We connect scanners only when we need a scanner. But when it comes to a CPU, now CPU is not something that we can, plug in and plug out. CPU is the main core component of a computer. So that is not a peripheral device. Now, peripheral devices are of two types: internal peripheral devices and external peripheral devices. Now, internal peripheral devices are those devices which are a part of the computer system's cabinet and they work as an internal component. So some of its examples could be graphics card, sound card, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. Whereas external peripheral devices are connected externally to the computer system. Examples could be a card reader, a memory card reader, smart watches, printers, or digital cameras. So all these are external peripheral devices. Now to store data, we can make use of external storage devices. Now some of the examples could be CD, DVDs, Blu-ray disc, pen drives, or hard disk. CD stands for compact disc, DVD stands for digital versatile disc. Both of them are used to record data on that. You can read as well as write data from a CD and a DVD, but they have different storage capacity. A CD can store up to 700 MB, whereas a DVD can store up to 4.7 GB. You must have come across pen drives. Now these pen drives are very portable because they are very small. So you can easily carry them anywhere, and they can be very helpful as they have various capacities, like you can store data up to 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB. So there are various variants of pen drives. External hard disk. You must have seen a hard disk which can be connected to the system externally. Now they have a wide variety of storage. They are ranging up to 1 TB, 2 TB. So they are useful for saving larger amount of data. Blu-ray discs are something similar to DVDs and CDs, but they are replacing DVD because the storage capacity of DVD is almost 6 times more. You can store up to 25 GB of data in Blu-ray disc. So that is a huge amount. Next, you must have also seen memory sticks. Now, these are basically used in digital cameras or mobile phone. They are again used for storage purposes. A motherboard. Motherboard is basically a circuit board in your computer. This is inside the system unit, and it is also known as the logic board or the main board or circuit board. Now, all the devices that are connected to your computer, like the keyboard, the mouse, everything is attached to the motherboard. This is the main board, the circuit board, where everything is going to be attached. Procedure for starting and shutting down a computer. Now you must be wondering that we just press the power button and our system starts. But that is not the case. There are many other steps that takes place before starting of a computer. Now as soon as you press the power button, you must have seen that the lights on the keyboard, they blinked for a while, or you may even hear a beep sound. This is called post, power on self test. Now post is basically a sequence of tests which is basically used to determine whether the hardware that is connected to your computer is connected properly or not. If anything is not working properly, is not connected properly, then it displays a error message on the monitor. You must have seen that as well. After the post, the computer now loads the operating system. This is called booting. The computer knows how to boot because all the instructions of booting are built into a chip that is called BIOS. Very important. BIOS stands for Basic Input and Output System. Once the booting has been successfully done, the operating system has been successfully loaded, whichever operating system you have is going to display a welcome screen. Once the welcome screen appears, this first screen that appears after that is going to be your desktop, and then you can perform all the other tasks that you want. When you shut down your system, you have to make sure that all your files are closed, all the applications that you were using have been closed properly. Now, what you have to do is you just have to go to the start menu, and you can see that the shutdown option is going to appear there. So click on the shutdown button and your system is going to get turned off. Now there are two other options that you can also choose. The first one is a sleep option. Now when you choose the sleep option, the system uses very little power and the computer starts up faster. So whenever you are going away for a shorter period of time, then you can use the sleep option. Whereas the second option is hibernate. Now this again uses lesser power, and this uses lesser power than sleep option as well. Now whenever you start the PC again, then you are going to start from that place where you have left your work. Ports and connections. Now ports are basically connection points which act as a interface between a computer and a hardware. For example, whenever you connect a mouse, a keyboard, or printer to your computer, you must have seen that there is a special space where you have to insert the cable. That is called a port. Now there are different types of port. such as USB port, display port, audio port. They have different sizes and shapes. Now these are USB ports, Universal Serial Bus. They can be used to connect mouse, monitor, scanners, mobile phones or cameras to the computer. Now you can see the port as well as the cable that we are going to insert. Now these are display ports for displaying purposes like VGA, Video Graphics Array. These are used to connect monitor or even projectors to our computer. While the next one is HDMI, High Definition Multimedia Interface. These are used to carry high definition video and audio. So they are used in high definition cameras or HD TVs or projectors. Now these are audio ports, also known as audio jacks. Now they are basically used for audio purposes to either insert microphones or speakers. So they are of three types. The first one is a microphone or a mic port, which is used to plug microphones to a computer. Next one is a inline port. Now if you observe the image, you'll see an arrow pointing towards a dot, right? You can see that it is line in, whereas the other image is showing an arrow that is coming out, so that is line out. So line in is basically used to connect an external audio device to a computer, whereas line out allows external speakers or headphones or other output devices to be connected to the computer. These are power ports. Now power ports are used for connecting the computer system to the power supply. Last are these Ethernet ports. Now these are used for connecting the system to high-speed internet cable. Now this is a basic layout of a keyboard which is being displayed using color coordinated scheme. So you can pause your screen to understand everything better here. Next is a mouse. Now mouse is a pointing device, as we all know, which has two buttons, a left click button and a right click button. In between the two there is a scroll wheel. Using a mouse is a very simple thing. You just have to know the basic operations of a mouse, like a single click. A single click is used to select a file or folder. Double click is used to open a file or folder. Hover means to move the mouse over an option. Drag and drop. If you want to bring a file from one folder to another, you can simply use the drag drop option. Files and folders. Now every information that is stored in a computer is kept in files. Each file has a file name and an extension. This extension is very important because this tells what type of file that is. For example, friends.docs. Docs means a document file. Schoolsong.mp3. Now mp3 is a sound file format. myschool.jpg or jpeg is an image format. budget.xlsx. Now this is an Excel file. So we can use extension to know what type of file that is. A file is something that stores all the information. Now a collection of files forms a folder. Now folders can consist of files as well as other folders within it. Let us now talk about communication and networking. The first one here is www, World Wide Web. Now, or we can also call it as web. Now this is basically a collection of websites, a huge collection of websites or web pages that is stored in web servers all across the world. And we can view these pages if we are connected to the internet. So if I want to search about a particular topic, I will simply type that in Google, and somewhere some information that is kept on the servers across the world is going to get collected and is going to be displayed on my system. What is internet? Now, a worldwide network of small and large networks is called internet. There is a huge list of applications of internet. You can do online shopping, online booking, you can learn something from the internet, you can search something on the internet. If you want to send letters to someone, you can do that using emails. You can watch videos, listen to music, you can connect with other people online, perform online banking, or you can also have your own online business. You can buy things online, you can sell services online. There is a huge list. How do we connect our computer to the internet? You just require two things. First is a computer, a laptop, or a mobile phone, and a connection device. Now, this connection device could be a modem. Then there is an ISP, Internet Service Provider, a telephone company that is going to provide you the internet connectivity. Now, this could be using either phone lines or it could be wireless. Connections are of two types, wired and wireless. Wired is when all the devices are connected through a physical cable, while wireless is when the connection is wirelessly done. Talking about networking, you must have heard this term bandwidth. Now, what is bandwidth? Bandwidth is basically the amount of data that can be transmitted over a network. Now, this can be expressed in two forms, bits per second or bytes per second. Talking about internet and its application, let us now look into some of the common internet terms. The first one is a browser, an internet browser. Now, these are applications or software which help us to visit various websites. For example, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, or Internet Explorer. All these help us to visit various websites. Whenever I want to open a website, I open the browser first and then I enter the address of that website. Next one is a web page. Now, web page is basically a document which can contain text, graphics, hyperlinks to other web pages, and these are most commonly written in HTML. These pages can be viewed in internet browser. So if I have created a web page, to access that web page, I have to open it using a browser. Each web page has a unique URL. A collection of web pages form a website. Hyperlinks. Now, you must have observed that sometimes when you visit a website, there are some words which are underlined and highlighted. Now, whenever you bring your mouse over that text, when you hover your mouse over that text, now the pointer of your mouse changes into a hand pointer. That means you can click on that particular word. As soon as you're going to click on that word, it is going to transfer you, or it is going to take you to another part of either the same page or a different page. So these are hyperlinks. They could be in the form of text or images. Lastly, URL. Now, URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Now, this is the address of a resource on the internet. That means address of a particular website is known as URL. The last topic that we are going to discuss in this video is email. Email stands for electronic mail, and this is the possibly the most popular internet application which allows you to send and receive messages in real time. It is a cost-effective method and an eco-friendly way, because here you are going to save paper. Now, in order to send an email, you should have an email account. Now, an email account is basically an electronic mailbox on the internet where your emails are going to be saved. Whichever email you are going to send or even receive are going to be there in this email account. Now, an email address is the name that uniquely identifies your email account on the network. Now there are basically three things that are there in this email address. The first one is the unique username. Next is an @ and lastly domain name. Now this is the name of the organization or the company that is providing you these email services. So what are the advantages of email? Email are used to send messages, or you can send images or files to multiple users at the same time. They are fast, they can reach anywhere around the world. It's just that you should have the email address of the receiver. It is mostly a free service. You don't have to provide any money. You don't have to give any money for the service, or even if you are giving any money, it is a very nominal price. Now, sending an email is an environmental friendly method as there is no paper being used. Now, there are some terms that are related to email. The first one is compose. Now, if you want to send a message to someone, if you want to send an email to someone, you have to use a compose option for that. The next one is a subject. As you write subject in applications, similar way you have to write a subject line. Now this subject line is very important. You can skip a subject line, but it is advisable that you have to write a subject before writing the actual body of that email. Next is the body of the email, which contains the main content of your email. When you are going to send the email, you are going to come across these three options, that is to, CC and BCC. Now this to option contains the email addresses of the receiver or the people whom you want to send the email to. CC means carbon copy. Now you want to send a copy of this email to someone else as well. So you are going to write the email address of those people in this CC section. Lastly, BCC, blind carbon copy. Now you want to send the email to other people as well, but you don't want that people in the to section and in the CC section should know that the copy is being sent to some other people as well. So we are going to write their email addresses in the BCC section, that is blind carbon copy. No one is going to ever know that that email is also sent to those people. Attachments. Now you want to send music files to someone, you want to send a video to someone, or a Word file, a PowerPoint present to someone. You can email them using the attachment option. You must have seen this paper pen type of symbol. Now you can click on that symbol to attach any file that is there on your computer. You must have heard these terms: inbox, sent, or draft. Now what is inbox? Inbox is basically a place where all your emails are going to come. Sent is that folder or that part where all the emails that you have sent are going to be stored. Draft is a folder which contains all the emails that were created but never sent. You have saved those emails. Now whenever you start writing an email, it is going to be saved automatically in the draft folder until and unless it is sent. Now junk and spam is a folder which contains all the email of those people who are not authentic. They can contain something harmful or something that is not appropriate. Trash is like a dustbin of your email account. All the emails that you have deleted are going to be there in the trash folder. Last is reply and forward option. Now whenever someone sends you an email, you can reply to that person by simply clicking on the reply button. If there is an email that you want to send to someone else, then you can simply click on the forward option. The same email as it is going to be delivered to that person. I hope